Welcome to No Strings Attached, untangling conversations about shady topics. Hosted by Roger McGallis, this podcast pulls back the curtain on the window covering industry with expert insights and a splash of Brazilian flair. Whether you're an installer, designer, dealer, or just fed up with crooked blinds, get ready for real tips, industry know-how, and plenty of laughs. Now, let's get untangled.
Hello. Welcome to another show of No Strings Attached. My name is Roger McGallis, and I am your host. If this is your first time here, welcome to the show. And if you have been here before, welcome back. Today, I am going to share a few first-timers during my career. But before that, I wanted to remind you that blindsonline.com is our sponsor. If you are looking for a curated, simple, and affordable way to cover your windows, blindsonline.com is a great place to go. Affordable, easy to navigate, and great prices. Blindsonline.com, our sponsor. Check them out. So I just completed a installation yesterday that took me 10 days instead of 3 days as I originally thought. Not an easy job. A lot of first-timers doing this job. For instance, I had a regular up and down exterior shade, which I have done a few, so wasn't nothing new to me. But then I had some sliding door screens that I never done it before. And not just one or two, I had 7 units. On top of that, I had to cover 4 triangle windows with screens, stationary screens, but nonetheless, something that I never done it either. So my point was, if I knew how hard it was going to be, I could walk away from that job and avoid all the frustration, all the extra money that I had to spend fixing things, correcting things that I didn't do right, and save all the aggravation. Or I could do what I did, which was face, all the challenges head on, figure it out, call your friends, your colleagues, your suppliers to understand, trying to find ways to solve the problems and move on. And obviously, I don't give up very easily. It's either my Brazilian stubbornness or just lack of better judgment. But every time that I do something for the first time is never easy. And I mean it. It's not just like, I'll give you some examples here. The first time I did plantation shutter wasn't just a simple regular bathroom window. It had to be a corner 90-degree window in the over a kitchen sink. Obviously, I said yes because I didn't know any better. But guess what? That entire process, that entire struggle, the entire situation brought me 3 steps forward. It's like you're going for a MBA before you even complete your high school classes. So it's not easy. It's not something that everyone can take on. I have a lot of colleagues in the industry. They try to think about every single possible scenario. But that creates something that kind of prevents you to move forward as well, because all these possible scenarios that could develop based on future uncertainty could paralyze you. I'll give you a personal example. I invest in Brazil, right? I like real estate. So this guy came to me, developer, and proposed some studios that he was building, and he was looking for investors. So I said, well, I like the idea. I'm interested. So I called a couple friends and I presented the same proposal to my friends. And I say, man, I'm going to get into these. I think is a good opportunity here. Do you want to come with me and kind of, we go together, or you buy yours, I'll buy mine? Well, definitely, I think this is a good opportunity. I'm going to jump in. If you want to come along, I'll introduce you. We'll take it from there. That was several years ago. I jump in, I bought it. Obviously, you got to have courage. You need to be willing to lose some. You need to be willing to walk away if thing doesn't work. But on the upside, if it does work, it puts you ahead of the game. And for one reason or the other, that's how I am. Always open to try things. And if they don't work out, I just walk away. I keep the lesson and I move forward. So I jump in. I bought a unit. My friend, I need to think about it. I'm not so sure. What happened if it doesn't work? And I said, well, if it doesn't work, you just lose your money, but you learn something in the process and, make it right the next time. So after that, I probably got into at least a half a dozen other deals with this guy. My friend, he is still thinking of the very first opportunity. So the point is, you might need to be a little nuts to, go forward when you don't have all the information, and kind of go blindly, and be willing to lose if things don't work out. The downside is you can lose some money. You may not be fully prepared. On the other hand, if you try to figure everything else first, it may paralyze you. It may hold you back. And it's probably not going to put you ahead of the game as fast as it could if you were just willing to, push the envelope a little bit. Going back to my business, my first job was the corner window in a kitchen with a shutter. My second job was a bay window. And did I know all the answers? Of course I did not. But I knew people that could help me out. And I called my supplier, and he came to the rescue. So that gave me enough confidence to take on the project, even though I didn't make much money, because all my profit, I gave it to the guy who came and basically installed it. But it was a private class that I was taking, if you know what I mean. With motorization was the same thing. I said yes before I really understood what I was doing. But guess what? I called Somfy and I say, hey, I just sold the job. And this goes back to 2006, when nobody ever even knew what remote shade was. So I said, I just sold the job. I need some help. Can you help me out? So I connect with the guy from Somfy. He came to the rescue. I pay him, a cup of coffee. I brought him to lunch and worked out. And those little nuts ideas, or, not even know how to say, but those moments of braveness give you confidence down the road. You might not know that right away, but put you ahead of the game. So same thing happened with draperies. Same thing happened with this job that I just completed yesterday. I took the training, I saw the product, I knew it could be done. So my first opportunity was these gazebo or lanai or whatever you want to call it over here in South Tampa. And I said, yeah, we can do that. So I ordered, I called the manufacturer. I actually didn't have anyone to come and help me out. But at this point, 20 years in the industry, at least I have the technical background to help me figure things out, figure out how to do it. There's a lot of videos these days. So I called the manufacturer. They assist me as best as they could. Obviously, I still made one mistake, had to reorder one of the shades, but I made it work. Obviously, I miscalculated the amount of extra work was involved in putting those tracks together, making sure everything was leveled. Then when it came to the triangles that I need to just make stationary to complete all the screens around this whole room, I was planning to do just cut a piece of fabric, he stapled it, but I tried one, it looks terrible. I didn't want to put my name on it. So I called another friend of mine, a colleague with a lot more experience in this kind of work. And I said, dude, what do I do here? I FaceTime him. He saw the pictures. He saw the site. He said, you want to work with this company. And he provide the website, provide the materials, everything. I did. Went to the site, bought it, watched the videos. And I said, man, this is going to be a lot more work. All the materials that I had bought originally went to waste because it was something that I was not going to use. Had to buy it again from this second manufacturer. Try, error, a lot of frustration. But at the end, it came out fantastic. So every time the homeowner came out, I was apologizing, say, hey, this took a lot longer. I apologize. My first time doing these. Don't pretend. Just be honest. And I say, man, this is the first time I'm doing it. I'm just, trying my best. I'll make sure these gonna come out the way it's supposed to come out. And the homeowner was just super, super happy that he noticed, he realized how much work was involved. And he was very glad that I was there, not letting things go, just doing what's supposed to do to make sure everything went the way, the best way possible. So here's my point for the show. You can play safe. There's no problem doing that. But it may hold you back because you may not have as many opportunities because you're just trying to be very, very safe. I'll give you another example with my mom. My mom would never invest in the stock market because of the uncertainties. And I said, Mom, just put the money there, forget it. It's not something that you need to watch every day. I said, no, I cannot live with uncertainty. I need to know for sure what I'm going to get, how things going to be, in the future. So in that case, she's very safe with CDs and something very predictable. But obviously, she's never going to be able to accumulate a lot of wealth because of the way she prefers to be, which is super safe. Same thing with our industry or whatever industry for that matter. If you're too safe, you're going to be super comfortable doing your job. You're going to be probably the best in town doing what you're doing. But they're never going to try you with something newer because they know you're safe. Never going to be out of food. Never going to be auto work, but maybe you're not going to advance as fast. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just different personalities, different ways to do things, different ways to run businesses. I am, on the other hand, my wife, same thing. We like to try things. We make a plan. Yeah, I think we can do that. If it works, works. If it doesn't work, the lesson stays and we move forward to the next chapter. So moving to Florida was the same thing. We never really planned. We should move. We should have these. We should have that. It was pretty much, let's move. We got to do this, got to do that. If it doesn't work, we just move to the next phase and do something else. And for the most part, we don't regret anything we do. We kind of regret at the time. I said, damn it, a lot more work than we thought it was what's going to be. But hey, guess what? That's what it is. And we're very happy the way we run our lives. So the message is, you can be safe. You can be edgy. Whatever works for you, as long as you're happy, just keep your word one way or the other. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, as always, I listen, I read every single comment. Please let me know. We'll take it from there. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.
That's a wrap for this episode of No Strings Attached, untangling conversations about shady topics. If you enjoyed today's discussion, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with fellow industry pros and window treatment enthusiasts. For more expert insights, follow Roger on social media and visit Shades in Place at www.shadesinplace.com. Thanks for listening. Until next time, keep your shades stylish and your conversations shady.